Well, now, avoid buying land as a young person. Yeah, did I just say that? Yeah, absolutely. I know I've said exactly that. And I repeat, avoid buying land as a young individual. And I know my statement has totally gone against the advice that you've been receiving since you are a young man. And I know you're like, "Ugh, I feel like, Joseph, I can punch you on the face. Why would you even say that? That is the ultimate thing that I'm working for. Why would you say that?" Hear me out. I know this is a very, very, very emotional topic. But let me tell you one secret. You know what they say? It's an ignorant. Ignorant is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Guess what? We are in 21st century. Yeah, I know some of you guys, especially the older people, are about to punch me on the face. But let me tell you the secret. Things are changing. That's a reality. We are on the 21st century. In terms of the investments, people are viewing things in a different way. And hear me out. This is that video you don't want to miss. Watch it until to the end. And if you must comment on the comment section, of which I'm going to leave it open for anybody to do so, you must have to think before you comment on the comment section. Now, remember one thing. Remember when you're working, everybody out there, they ask you, do you have a piece of land? Then if you do not have a piece of land, for example, I'm saying this from Africa, especially from Kenya. If you're working and you have some money and water, even if you have a fleet of cars and people ask you, hey, do you have a piece of land? If you do not, they say, hey, you're a failure. You ought to have a piece of land. I mean, seriously, that's the ultimate thing, that you need to have it. And again, what we borrowed from our parents and our grandfathers and mothers, obviously to them, land was like an ultimate thing. You know why land is so much emotive when it comes to Africa? We were colonized. We never had land. We were actually slaves in our own continent. Then it means the moment we actually got the people who were colonizing us, then owning a land was like the ultimate thing to have it. Here, everybody was brushing here and there. That's why you find like of the forefathers of our countries actually amassed like big parcels of lands. Let me not get political, but that's a fact. So that thing of getting land as much as early as you can has been a thing throughout the time, but things are changing. And here is the point. And this is where you confuse yourself and get yourself in a situation whereby even getting out. For me, I have been receiving calls from different people who are young, and these guys are telling me, you know what, Joseph, I have 2 parcels of land, one in Malindi, one in whatever the place is, but I'm really struggling even paying school fees for my kids because the amount of money I've been cut from my salary is way outrageous out there. And I'm going to explain examples here on this board of mine. But before I do that, have you subscribed to my channel? By the way, have you liked this video? If you're getting value for this video, come on, hit that like button as well. Subscribe and comment down below. Let's get to the point. Now, here you are. Let's say you've accessed like your a million bob. Now, we're going to do a very simple mathematics here. You have a million bob. Okay, this is a million bob. A million Kenyan shilling. This is like 690. Oh, by the way, right now is around 750 there in terms of the USD. Okay. Not 790, but 700, yeah, 700 and something in terms of the USD. Now, okay, now the point is this. That amount of money you have it as of now is the first time you've accessed that amount of money. Now you go out there because they say, hey, get a piece of parcels of land. You go get your 50 by 100 parcel of land. And now this parcel of land, therefore it means that obviously you do not have the capacity to go ahead and value add this property. And before I even continue on this video, I have to give you a disclaimer. If you are a young person and you're buying a parcel of land to build rentals and you have the capacity, the best thing, go ahead and do that. If you're buying a parcel of land to do farming and do some value addition from the parcel of land, go ahead and do it. If you're buying a parcel of land on the basis of acquiring a school or something, building a school and something, you already have the cash to actually value add that property, go ahead and do it. I support it. It's an amazing thing. But if you're just buying a parcel of land so that you want to form or you want to get into something called, hey, you know what? Oh, by the way, I mean, it's not 750, it's like 7,500. I'm sorry about that. 7,500. Now, if you want to get a parcel of land on the basis of, you know, go out there and be able to, you know, just buy a piece of land for you to be termed as an owner of the land, heck no, that is not how we go about it. And I'm going to explain to you. See, when you're young, and I'm going to explain to you, let's say, for example, if you're from 21 all the way to, I would say 45 years. From 21 years all the way to 45 years. In this category of your life, you actually focus on growing money. Focus on what? Growing money, right? So when you're 45, obviously and above, you can say and above, or 48 plus or 45 plus, on this category, you focus on something called storing money. Storing money. Those are things that you have to understand, okay? Now, fine, I know I might have introduced this one, but if you've never watched it, then this is the time to grab it once again. Now, at this particular point, when you're 21 to 45 and you've accessed a million bob, you're supposed to be thinking, what can I exactly do with this a million bob that I have in my account so that I can multiply it? This a million bob, I use it as an extra tool to be making use of some cash flow. And remember one thing, one rule of investments: whenever you invest your a million bob somewhere, it should give you 10K in terms of the returns. That's what should give you. So the investment that you're having does not give you the 10K as a return, then that's not the best returns that you can ever have. And I'm going to use an example of an IFB, or a treasury board, that we have right now. Right now, as we speak, we had, and it's about to come again next month. So hopefully, I'm making this video on February 22, 2024. Now, this is a million bob, and then right now as we speak, we had an IFB that is floated at a 18.4% coupon, and is what? And it is tax free. Now, I want to give you examples of two people here. Now, this individual here bought a parcel of land at a million bob. That is person A. You buy a land, and then we have person B. Person B, who went ahead and used the same a million bob, invested in a treasury bond that's gonna give you 18.4. And by the way, this treasury bond is amortized. Amortized, it means that anyone who will invest a million bob and below will get back their money at the year 3.5. That is 3.5 years to come. Now, the point is this. Now, this a million bob is subjected to 18.4. Now, what is 18.4? 18.4%. Oh, and by the way, I have to give you a disclaimer. This is pure mathematics, because in investments, you have to calculate and calculate and calculate. So what is 18.4? 18.4% of 1 million. Okay? What is 18.4 of 1 million? That gives you 184,000. This 184,000, hey, get your calculator, okay? This 184,000, that is for a year. So I want us to go ahead and calculate and get to see how much that would be in terms of a period of 1 month. So if you take 184,000, you divide that by 12. How much does it give you? It gives you 15,000. It gives you 15,300 Kenyan shillings. That is a monthly income from their million bob. Now, here is the question. You're already employed at this age. That's why you've managed to raise this amount of money. You go buy a parcel of land. You do not have the capacity to go ahead and do what? Value add the piece of property. So you're banking on land increment, land, what we call the land appreciation in terms of the price. Therefore, that land is out there. Your million bob is sleeping somewhere. Yeah, I know you're banking on the land appreciation and such kind of a thing. So you do not have money at your disposal. We have two things, people. We have two people here. One person, and then maybe say the land appreciates at approximately of 7% or something of sort per year. But here, this person is getting it at 18%. Obviously, there's no land that appreciates at this rate. Therefore, it means this guy is not only getting a cash flow from the investment. This is a hard investment, that is the land, and the IFB or the bonds is the soft investment. The soft investment kicks in the cash flow. There is a cash flow that is coming in, because at this age, you really need cash. Come on, I'm telling you, you really need cash. If you have the capacity to get the cash and asset at the same time, that's the best thing. But at this particular age, you really need cash, because you want to expand that what you have. So there is 15,300 that is flowing in each and every month. And if you were to multiply that by 12, then you get yourself 184,000. So this 184,000, if you were to multiply it by 3.6, you multiply rather by 3.5, that is 3.5 years, you're gonna get a clean 644,000. That's what you get. 644,000, that's what you get, meaning the 184, because that's what you're getting per year, then you multiply that by 3 years. I'm taking an example of the current board that you have, because it's an amortized. So you get yourself 644,000 at the period of what? 3.5 years. Okay, that's what you get. Now, it means that after the period of 3.5 years, you already have yourself 1,644,000. That's what you have. Guess what happens? If you were to plow back that amount of money, you can still do an amazing thing. Guess what you can do? You can go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to risk all this amount of money. I'm going to go and buy a parcel of land at their million bob. Let's say this land obviously has appreciated. Let's say has appreciated to 1.2 million. So you get your 1.2 from 1.6, you buy a parcel of land. You're remaining with 400K. This 400K, you can build a semi-permanent structure there, and maybe you can lease it out, or you can rent it out, you can do something of sort. But again, if you feel like it's too early to do to go ahead for a soft asset, for a hard asset rather, you can plow back that amount of money. So if you were to invest another 1.6 million again into this IFB, I mean, seriously, you get what I'm doing now? You're gonna go out there, you keep on multiplying your cash, you keep on multiplying your money to a point where by the moment now you hit an age of 45 years and above, now that's the time now you think about, okay, I'm not gonna rely with this cash flow like forever. You can decide, and you can even decide, hey, instead of taking the 1.6 to invest in an IFB, how about I take 600,000, I go buy a piece of property somewhere, maybe a little bit far from the person who bought it, maybe let's say for a million bob, maybe a little bit interior, and this a million bob, I'm gonna look at it for the next even 5, 6 or 7 years. Remember, we are at this particular age before you hit 45. Now you'll be having a good cash flow. At the same time, you have some parcel of land which is appreciating at the same time. So a time will come whereby you can say, hey, the cash flow that I'm getting from these infrastructure bonds or the bills or money market fund that I've invested, therefore I'm going to channel that towards doing the rental income. That's how you progress yourself. By the time now you hit 45, you not only have a cash flow, the existing bills and bonds, but you also have a parcels of land that can actually, that you already have built what we call the rental income. That is exactly how you do it, because you getting this a million bob into a parcel of land and banking on the value addition or the appreciation of the land. Have you ever tried to sell a parcel of land? It becomes a more complicated. Oh, and by the way, and I have to tell you this. I had one client who told me they have sold a property worth 20 million. By the way, I know some of you may be like, that sounds like crazy. No, that guy actually sold a property worth 20 million. And that person invested that money into these different areas of investments. The guy is not making, because the guy was telling me, I'm really having a very rough time with tenants and all those kind of things. You know, there is this new, just accept there is a change. There is this new trend is coming up, and I've seen it. Yeah, I'm seeing it because I'm receiving lots of calls. There is this new generation that is coming in. They're so not much inclined to, buying piece of lands and parcels of land. They're more inclined into multiplying their money in terms of investing the soft assets and all those kind of things. It is true. I mean, seriously. And again, I can foresee this. I'm not a prophet. Maybe this video will be viewed like a number of years to come. I'm foreseeing a time when will come, people will be leaving YouTube channels to their children and saying, hey, my will says that I leave this YouTube channel to so and so, because there are people who survive on YouTube. There are some people who survive on Instagram. There's some individual here who pay their bills using an Instagram. I mean, seriously, when you're writing your will, when you're becoming an old person, I mean, it's an asset that you need to think, who can I leave this Instagram to? Yeah, I know baby boomers are like, what are you talking about? What is Instagram in the first place? There are people who be leaving TikTok accounts to some people. There are some people who get approached by a company in a TikTok, and then they tell you, hey, advertise for us, and that's what they eat and drink. That's a reality. So we are shifting from the traditional way of view of properties and investments to a new modern way of view of things, especially this era where the AI is really kicking in. You really need to move with the time. And again, you see, there are people who just open their mouth and text and comment. They don't even consider what they are saying. There's no way I say that people should not buy parcels of lands. No, people should buy. It's an amazing thing. But you should do so when you realize that you have a good cash flow, so that at least by the time now you access that property, as much as it's not a cash flow generating property, you've not disturbed your cash flow. That is exactly what you're supposed to do. So that, and by the way, remember one thing. And that's why if you have parents back at home, they don't call you and tell you, hey, would you mind if you can send us some few title deeds? They ask you, would you mind that you can send us some few coins or something of sort? Why? Because a time will come when you will solely and fully rely on cash flow. So if you can be able to answer that question of cash flow, that will be the best thing. So if you want to go out there and invest like the way it used to be invest in 1960s and 50s and 40s, you're going to do something different from it. It is good to make sure that you spread your tentacles out there, perceive and view life in a different way, and that way you're gonna achieve a lot of things in terms of investments. Yeah, and I said I'm gonna leave this disclaimer out there. Buying piece of lands, it's okay, it is great, but do so when you know you not only have the money to buy the parcels of land, but also value adding the similar parcels of land. Never forget those things. And for now, it's a goodbye. Don't forget to see you in the next one.